Today, our subject is the overcome the fear. So why we made that subject? Because this is the essential point of the human problems, not just human, but all for all sentient beings. Think about this. We have 80,000 clashes, or you can say afflictions. All of them, you can say, rooted by ignorance, but also we can say very much rooted by fear. So if we become fearless, that also we can say equal of the fully enlightenment, Buddhahood. As long as the fearlessness is limitless, fearless, and then equal to the Buddhahood. So in this case, we can think that fearlessness is the underlying or the problem. I mean, the fear is, so therefore is equal, we gain the fearlessness, means we have everything, have confidence. The confidence is the most essential, important to do anything. Is not talking about overconfidence or arrogant. We're talking about real confidence. So that's also comes from fearless. So that's why the chod practice why we call chod. Chod means cutting through. So cutting through means you can interpret it in many ways, but one way also we can say cutting through all fear. So if there's no fear, then there is no problem. So chod practice, you can say the most fast solve the problem. It is not the most simple. It is not the most basic. It is advanced practice, but also can relate it with anybody, because everybody's problem, the underlying is the fear. So when you become fearless, then how is great, anybody can imagine. That's why even as advanced practice, if you go details, then some pointers maybe you're going to shock. But if we think simple way, then is a very simple practice of fearlessness. practice is overcome or fail. So kind of simple. So very important to know first any subject. First, the overview, the central point. Even if you don't know the whole central point, is some kind of simple way to relate it yourself is important. So that's why think about the central point is overcome or fear. No matter how detailed and how extensive this practice, the central point is overcome the fear. So think about that. And think about it in 30 seconds and silent. It should be very clear for everybody if we say this way, but just in case, if it's not so clear for some people, how come everything is under all the problems, all the clashes, underlying and fear? How come, how? We talk a little bit this. If we think about 5 positions, known as 5 positions in Buddhism, the real meaning is there is 5 negative, major 5 negative emotions to lead in our life is the wrong way. So the first one we call ignorance. So ignorance means you don't know the root problem and how to solve this for everything. We put it that way. So chod practice, cutting that root problem, cutting through, then you understand in one way you can say you understand emptiness, or the other way you can say you understand the selflessness. Another way say you understand the true nature of the ultimate motherhood. Or you understand the ultimate femininity. Something like that. So that equals have eliminate or ignorance or cutting through that the root of the ignorance or the root of the or problem. All fears, we have fear because we have unknowing phenomenon. We have unknowing phenomenon. It is normal, something you don't know, and then fear comes. So that's why we can explain that overcome fear ultimately is cutting through the ignorance. And then the second portion we call the anger or hatred, distance. Aggression. You are so aggressive, you know, usually why people are aggressive? Because there's fear underlying. So you have to be aggressive because you try to defend yourself. All this aggressiveness come from try to offend yourself. It looks like you attacking someone, but still is the underline is you try to defend yourself in the wrong way. So that's why aggressive and angry. Hatred, because you think there's something attacking you. That's why you hate it. Something very unpleasant, because that's something related, attacking you. So that's why. Is underneath is the fear of attacking me. In many ways, not physically attacking necessarily. In many ways, then we have attachment problem. Also underneath is the fear. We are so attached and clinging on. Why? Because we are fear of losing. You know, if you have zero fear of losing, there is no attachment. So everything we are so attached, that makes us difficult to departure, to separate, to lose. If it's the belongings, then it's losing, because there's a fear underneath. Jealous, same thing. You are jealous because you're losing, you know, fear losing this competitiveness. You are the winner, or at least equal. You think you're losing that. That's why you're jealous. Jealous means you are not happy somebody's success. You're not happy somebody's beauty or whatever, wealth or whatever, because you have fear. Underneath you have fear and become inferior. Why you have this? Because you don't look the world. You only look a very small world and something near you, and you compete that, then is you think not going to success, and you are going to, you have fear of not success, the competitiveness. Similarly, everything have underlying the fear of something. For instance, if we put as like the worldly concerns, the 8 worldly concerns, you have always fear of not gain. and fear of losing anything, always. Then you have fear of comfort, like losing the comfort, or you can say lose the success. Then we have fear of, we are always concerned about praise or recognition, because you have underneath fear and not going to recognize, not going to praise, and the opposite going to be blame, fear of blame. Everything's fair. Fear of ignore, not recognize it. Fear of losing status. Everything is underneath, there's a fear. That's why the extensive chod practice, the essential point is overcome the fear. Especially in modern time, we have a lot of fear. Everybody's so scared. And that's why you outside, you try to make perfect, because you are scared inside. If somebody not scared inside, not fear, you don't have to be look perfect outside, because you are relaxed. You are relaxed means you have some confidence. But when we don't have this, then we have to be taught to be perfect looking everything. Why modern time, even modern people have more fear, more problems? Why? Because the facilities, education, everything is 100 times better than used. So why become worse? Because our focus is external things, judged by everything, appearance and external and like this. And then you are, how do you say? So that's why lack of training, under training, a lack of the emotional training, only professional training, external professional training, or you can say intellectual training, but not emotional training. But the fear is emotion, So emotion is controlled our life. Rational thinking sometimes help a little bit emotion, but you have to have emotional training as well. If no emotional training, just intellect can't solve all the problems. Why? Because emotion is stronger than intellect thinking. Because emotion is more natural than intellect training. That means It's not mean we cannot have emotions. We can have a lot of emotions, no problem. But we have to have a training how emotions works, how we use emotions more better way. That is lack of in the modern time. So chod practice you can consider as very extensive emotional training and focus, overcome the fear. Overcome the fear is not just even superficial way, but is much more deeper way. Incredible deeper way is emotional training. You consider that. Also, what we have lack of things is modern time, generosity, love and kindness, many things lack of. Why lack of? We have to see why is it because the modern focus is individualism. You don't need anybody. We try to set up, I don't need anybody. I have my phone, my money, my bank, my password, and nobody know my password. I can do anything with my finger. That's we training. That's we are focusing. So that is individualism. So this individualism is not human nature. As humans need share. Humans not enough just have good food and these things not good enough. We need human relationship. But human relationship is all become is superficial. Why become superficial? Because you think you don't need anybody. You just need somebody temporarily in limited ways. You need it, but you don't really need. And we shift that way. So then some people, some individuals even think I need it, but you have no choice because the whole world shift that way. So what the only way we have to recognize, we have to realize we are going the wrong way. Humans need a relationship and more deeper level and more security in more deeper level, not just like money. Money security is good, but that's only is not good enough. So, you have to have emotional security, not just financial security. We need many, many securities. So that's why we cannot have genuine love and compassion, and these things very difficult because even people understand intellectually, oh, it's good thing we have compassionate and love, blah blah. But practically it's very difficult because you are not trained this way, and the whole world did not shift this way. So we need change direction. How we world shift also, we are small people have to realize this, and then you can influence more people, and then more people. One person influence 10 people, and then 10 people can influence 100 people. 100 can influence 1,000, 1,000 can influence 10,000, like that way. Have to shift. So chod practice showing you these things more deeper level. The most deeper level of generosity, the most deeper of loving kindness, and especially compassion, I say. Okay? Compassion, I think if people have wrong understanding, we have to understand the right way. Because usually when we say compassion, people think, oh, compassion. Oh, I'm sad for other people to suffer. And then I have this, sadness. Start from sadness, other people's problem, suffering. Then I have, generosity and to help them. Huh? That is not a real compassion, okay? This is, you can say, starting point compassion, maybe. Starting point, but it's not a real compassion. Real compassion is direction of fearlessness. You're not afraid of anything, you're not scared of anything. Or at least you're less scared, you less have fear. So that means, compassion means you care more than yourself. And you are not scared, care more than yourself. You care about the world, you care about the globe, you care about humanity. Because normally people don't care once, means scared again. Scared means, how can I care everybody? I have to care myself. It is impossible I care everybody. It sounds like true. Sounds like true in many ways. I'm one. Everybody care themselves. I can't care everybody. But the care is your attitude and emotion. Is not you physically have to serve everybody. What does make differences? You have this caring, not scared to care everyone. Usually scared because think, oh, you think, you mixed. I care means I have to physically take care of everybody. But you don't have to physically care everybody. Not the start point. You train in yourself emotionally, your attitude, not scared to care everybody. You have mind training, care everybody. So care everybody means any chance, you have any opportunity you can help somebody, you are ready. You are ready because you are trained. That time you are very happy. You see as opportunity. You see as a great opportunity. You don't see, oh my God, again I have to do this. You don't see that way. So you see that your mind is different. Have less fear. Fear means it just, you don't want to do it, means is underlying is fear. Or if I do this, then this, you think something disadvantage. That's the fear. Fear means I means fear means this. Anything if you do, then you have a lot disadvantage. That is fear. You think it's some disadvantage. So that's why I'm saying compassion means the courage. And you have courage to care. You're not careless. Careless means coyote. And compassion means courageous. Okay? So chod practice showing this very deeply. Very deeply. And then also we have to think about this. When we say we have fear, scared, and then no scared. What is the differences? Why the differences come? When we scared, physically somebody attacking, then we have two possibilities of few levels of possibility to secure oneself. Usually, okay, we build around fence, or we try to keep some weapons, or we can keep dog. Whatever we try to do, just build around, and like we have a lot of financially we scared. That's why we have insurance, buy insurance like this. Everything is not a real solution. It's just a possibility of solution. It's not a real solution because it's not yourself is strong. Is you are relying on something else. So that means no guarantee. But still we try to do this because we don't have any other options. So the real security is you overcome this ignorance. Ignorance means when we say, oh, if I don't do this, then I could have this problem. But we don't know it would have problem. Even finance, for instance, oh, I have to have this finance, security, this, otherwise I will have problem. But you don't know you will have problem or not. You don't even know how long live you are. You have even the time to use this money and everything. But we don't think that way. But the real security is you know what is what will happen. I know how long I live. If you know exactly how long I live, what I need, exactly how much money I need, how much is useful and how much is useless, if you know that, then is real security, isn't it? Even you don't have no money, zero money, but you know I'm not going to have financial problem. Somehow I survive this way, I'm going to be survive this way. You know exactly 100%. Then you have no fear, and you have real security. Or similarly, chod practice build the solution. You have no fear because why you have fear? Where is the root problem? And then cutting through all these root problems. So that's why I'm saying the chod solution is the most deeper. How do you say? The most advanced way of overcome fear. So when we overcome fear, there is no problem, anything. So that is the essence of chod. Okay. Oh, okay. Maybe I live here, so then you can have questions. Everybody have questions, and you can not only just questions, but you can share your thoughts. And then you can have a debate or whatever you have confused or you are disagreement, and whatever you have, maybe this more enjoy than you just listen to me. Good?
Yeah, if someone wants to talk, just from here, then you can use the microphone so that the translators, they can also translate your question. Welcome to come.
I have a question, Martin. Hello, Rinpoche. Glad to be here. In I think the long sadhana of Taranatha, of chod, it talks about the interdependence of relative and ultimate truth. Now, from the Shen Tong perspective, a relative truth is empty of itself, and ultimate truth is empty of other. So how is it that relative truth and ultimate truth are interdependent when it seems that that also they don't touch? If relative truth is empty of itself, but ultimate truth is not, how is it that relative truth can affect or condition ultimate truth so that they are interdependent? So I'm struggling with the interdependence of the two truths. If you could enlighten that point, thank you.
Good question. Why? Very high question. Very high philosophy question. Okay, so I have to try tell this. Firstly, relative truth is dependent on ultimate truth, but the ultimate truth is not dependent on anything, not dependent on relative truth, not dependent with anything whatsoever. Okay, so in that case, many people maybe can think, that means many practices is in relative truth level. It's not ultimate truth level. So how going to be effect that in reach the ultimate truth? Probably, if you have that question, that's doubt. The answer, in my point of view, I don't know other people's point of view, but in my point of view, this is when we're talking about the ultimate truth, we have to understand the relative truth is never exist whatsoever. But this is only compare the ultimate truth. Otherwise, of course, exist. That's why we're talking today here. We are here, exist, and we're talking and listening and discussion. But when you compare something, then different. So this finger, compare this one is tall, but then compare this, not tall. The same way, when you compare the absolute ultimate truth, then is no further. So then relative truth becomes nothing. Okay, so then all relative activities and the enlightenment, everything, it works in that field, not works, nothing to do with the ultimate truth. Then maybe people confuse, oh, then how can we work on ultimate, the relative truth level? We practice a lot of, and merit everything. What does help reach the ultimate truth? The absolute, the Gentong Buddha nature, how we reach there. In that level, there is a higher question. So then high answer is you didn't reach anything, you already reached. Before you have illusion, something is didn't, nothing existence for existence, but whenever you realize, then is, oh, nothing's happened, all is not true. Just awaken out your dream, then you know all is not true. Never existed, you never been there, never did this, but you don't really care now anymore. The same thing. Is that answered or not?
Yes.
Okay, I hope so. Any more questions? Online people, if you don't have question here, huh? Online, no question.
But since I don't have a microphone, maybe you can repeat the question then.
The drum, right? About the drum? There is one person asking, I don't have a drum. Is that okay?
Yes, that's okay, no problem.
Also, is chod so effective because we are working to recognize or experience our ultimate nature? What is it about chod that makes it so powerful?
Huh? Say again.
Is chod so effective because we are working to recognize or experience our ultimate nature? Or what is it about chod that makes it so powerful?
What makes chod so powerful?
Yeah.
Is why, because it's why working with our ultimate nature. Is that the reason? Why? What makes chod?
Oh, yes. We are. Yeah, we. Of course, aim is the ultimate truth. We targeting to reach ultimate truth. In chod way is more advanced way, more fast way. That's why we cutting through the root problems, not the surface problems. We targeting the root problems, cutting through, not the secondary problems, or you can say the superficial problems, or you can say not the branches we targeting the root problems. Yeah.
Somebody also asked if the fear of death is addressed in chod practice.
Is the fear of death? Is the fear of death also addressed in the chod practice?
Others.
Addressed.
Oh, addressed. Not directly, extensively, but it is because chod practice. When you do in the chod practice, you have you becomes, then is a fearlessness is like dying, and other people attacking me, demons attacking me, ghosts attacking me, no normal red people attacking me. All these things you just overcome. So attacking means the ultimate attacking is the death, right? So that's why it is, yes. So that means not the emphasize directly talking about death too much, but it is central point, practicing the central, how to say, the essential focus. Yeah.
If I understand correct, church should us help to overcome our fears and learn fearlessness. However, I think it's the other way. We overcome ignorance, or we have knowing, and from knowing comes fearlessness. But is it the other way around? We learn fearlessness and then comes knowing.
No, I didn't understand. Say again.
So we're training to be courageous. We learn to be fearless. And from fearlessness comes knowing, or overcoming biases, blind spots.
Yeah.
But isn't it the other way around? We overcome our blind spots and biases, and therefore we become courageous and fearless.
Okay, Rafa. You made some.
What should I try to
Interpret.
Try to make clear.
Yeah, because you talked about fearlessness.
Yes.
And then through the fearlessness, you achieve, he's saying you achieve, then you go beyond the ignorance. But he's saying it's not the other way around. Maybe you overcome your ignorance, and by that, then you have no fear anymore.
Oh, yeah. Yes, but in the chod, you overcome, our focus is overcome fear, and you become fearless. But how you, that is what we focus in. But how you do it is, we teaching in the chod, we teaching and practice the ignorance, the eliminating ignorance, not just ignorance, normal, simple ignorance things. We not focusing this, but we focusing on, this overcoming 4 maras. So overcoming 4 maras means basically you develop this wisdom and you eliminate this ignorance. That's why.
Okay, thank you.
You had a good question. Yeah, more.
So I have some fear right now of public speaking.
Then you have a reason behind, why I'm scared of speaking. Somebody judging, or yeah, there's something, something behind there.
So there's a lot of wisdom teachings that define courageousness as having the fear and acting anyway. So there's a lot of emphasis on, or a lot of teachings that say fear is unavoidable, and to not worry about fear, and to instead of focusing on getting rid of fear, focusing on having the fear and acting anyway. But what I hear you saying is different.
Okay, So you say, and there's a lot of teachings say fear is unavoidable, so don't worry about no fear, and instead you learn how to deal with your fear, right? Yeah. Okay. So I say that teachings as not incorrect, because they're talking about that stage. Fear is unavoidable means somebody not training like Jodwe, it is unavoidable. So then temporary solution is you say how to deal with this. But Jod is go much more advanced, say how you become fearlessness. But also Jod have also have process, not from beginning, bam, it's not like this. At the Jod we have a different practices Jod, and then from slowly introduce you how to overcome the fear.
I look forward to it.
Okay.
Is the practice of chod useful in the bardo?
Of course, if you have a chod practice very well, that means yeah, you have no fear of death. Instead, you have looking for the death, because you are as like child and from a very fair place. Tomorrow gone to home and your mother, like that, because you're the learning the ultimate mother, so you're familiar with this, and then you are so then you know what it means. Death means it's not usually people think, because usually people think death means, for some people, I'm finished, my identity, everything gone forever, nothing. But for many people, no idea what's going to happen. Many people have superficial ideas, and then I'm going to have trouble, I have traveling, then I need some money, so I put a corn in my mouth. Many people have superficial ideas, but the chod show you the most deep. So that's why you are saying all these things is not true. The death is not something you're scared of. The death is something greatest opportunity to connecting your really yourself, not the illusional ego self, but it's true yourself. So that's why it's a it's something looking forward, is not scared of. So definitely practice that. You have to be mastery of Jot, of course, not just oh, I attend some retreat, oh, I heard of this and I read this, or I understand intellectually. That helps, but it's you death and everything, absolutely no fear and looking forward like that, become like that, you have to be mastery of Jot. Then yes, definitely, 100%.
Somebody online wants to know, it's often recommended to do chod practice in scary places like cemeteries, but in Europe and USA, usually cemeteries are very peaceful, but nice places even.
Yes.
Some person is asking if you have any recommendations.
Yes, firstly, chod practice scary places means is not for beginners. When you have a little bit advanced, that time you meant to be doing that. Okay. First is not that. First, a safe place, physically safe place. You just train in your mind first. Okay. And then process. And then when you have hard confidence, that time you challenge in yourself. You challenge yourself is part of your training. But when we say symmetry, these things as different cultures, a different concept, people have worked a different way. This is come from Tibet. So Tibet symmetry means all dead people cut it and on one stone, millions of people cut it one stone, and then they culturally believe all the spirit dead people there. And also many people saying they seen at night time and bone skeleton, how do you call skeleton? Okay, people go in there, everything, and many concepts around. That's why for them is the most scared place. So that's why if you are ready, go there and challenge. Okay, but for yes, in the West, maybe your concept is dead person is not scared, not necessarily, and then cemeteries try to make look beautiful, and then you have a busy life, and then you just go there and yes, peaceful, just like you fishing for fun. People are using fishing for like meditation. So many people's meditation is fishing. So fish have incredible fare, but for you is like a peaceful meditation. So you have to, whatever scary things, you have to challenge yourself. That one is not only just cemetery. Yeah.
Thank you. Fear is a force that stops a lot of people from harming themselves, from death, from danger. If you become fearless, what stops a master of chod from damaging themselves, from desiring death, for example?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, that's true. So when we say chod is a purpose of overcome fear and become fearless, means fearlessness you need it for that. It's not fearless with ignorance. Is fearless with wisdom. Okay. So fearless with ignorance means what you say, what you don't know what is dangerous and everything. You just more likely it's very dangerous, but you just don't know or don't care or probably don't know. Otherwise, that they definitely care. So that's why you just go and then dangerous. That's why I say even the chod practice for beginners, we not recommended that very scary places and you're scared of, So it's process training, So that means training with wisdom. So something before I said, most of the fear is because we don't know what happened. We don't know how much financial security we need. That's why we don't know how long we live. Maybe you have only 7 days to live, but we think in 100 years live and try to finance and everything security, because we don't know. That's what I'm doing. But The chod shows what is really you need scared, what you don't need scared. They teach you this wisdom. So that's why you develop the fearlessness with wisdom, not ignorance. Okay.
There is a person online, Rinpoche,
Yeah.
asking, Rinpoche, if in Europe or in the US, the cemetery are so peaceful, which place then should they go to feel fear, more frightening places?
This is difficult to answer for me because the frightening places individualism is not for everybody. So it's not recommended if you go, okay, somebody Ukraine and that Russian doing the war, middle of this fighting battle, nobody recommend you go there, even church practitioners. Okay. Why? Because that's physical dangerous. Physical dangerous is should not recommended you go physical dangerous. Is conceptual danger. We think is dangerous, and then you think it's dangerous, and then you scared, then you going to sick from this, and you become crazy, or can be anything happen. Because mind created the world, huh? So that's why those things are should teaching you what is you should scared, or what is you ready to, what is not ready. So the physical dangerous place, nobody recommend, include chod, okay? But I would say you are the ultimate the state, and no fear of death, but also longing for death. Maybe then you can recommend. Otherwise, no. So that's why I think you have to think about where is the most scary places, like mentally, the culturally. Yeah, so there's some people just scared, even just dark, yeah, just dark, then it's scared because just unknown. So anything like this, you have to imagine what is the most I usually scared of. Scared of one means also something happened, like ghost or something, this, but it's not like a dangerous place, like a very big cliff, or not talking about physically dangerous. It's something mentally you scared of. These areas, so I can't recommend it because individualism. Individuals have to know what is scary for you. Yeah.
Rinpoche, looks like we don't have questions. If you
Okay.
allow me to request you, if you could share a little bit about your path on chod, because you are very known as the Kalachakra path, Vajrasattva, but we know that you practice chod in different lineages. If you could share a little bit about your path.
Yeah, so I received chod from Kagyupa Lama first, and then I practiced like retreat first myself inside Yakdang, frozen Yakdang room. Okay. So we have in Tibet, we have frozen Yakdang rooms because we have that time we have only tent. So then if I want to retreat or something in winter, then the best solution we make Yakdang frozen, and then the fresh and together like cement. The frozen one is like rock, and then the other one is like cement. Then we use like this, and then inside I did retreat. Then I go also by myself. We say we have to go like 108 what water comes from, where does the water source come from. So because thus we culturally believe is Nagas there, and it's not only Nagas but also there's unseen beings. So you go the unseen beings places and then you offer your body and everything, you know. So that's the challenges. So then I went to this 108 by myself. And then I also practiced the chod, received the chod from India, Kakajibs and Tamba, come from Geluk tradition. And then we practiced the retreat. Yeah, so then I received Jonang. Yeah, so I received Nyama as well. But mainly I did this practice. So chod practice is very interesting, I thought, and it's not exactly every day everybody practices Buddhism, study Buddhism is similar way, but it's not exactly the same, and more fast and more effective. That's why I interested to teach this. And I also interested to write this. So this year I have surgery and I have meant to be rest, but I wrote this chod during that my rest. So because I read many chod practices, but I always thinking other people. So for other people, chod is not 100% clear for everybody. That means the very smart ones, of course, clear, but it's not clear for everybody. A little bit confusing sometimes. Many types of chod inside, practice different things. So this time I wrote chod is clear for everybody. Anybody clear, and then they have the consistent also ordered very nicely. So that's why I interested in chod practice. Yeah, I also interested in chod practice because when in my childhood, my mother tell me stories. Her brothers went to chod practices and everywhere, what happened, and you know, many things, very interesting things. Maybe I can share during the teaching. Okay. Today we are on the time, I think. So maybe we live here. So the Kalachakra practice and chod practice, they are not contradict. They just complement each other. So that's why.
Thank you, Rinpoche, for this teaching. So if you are online following us, if you want to join still the empowerment tomorrow, it may be possible for you to register and get the link still in time, but we would suggest that you do that as soon as possible so that you can access in time. Rinpoche doesn't bestow the chod empowerment very often, so just leave this as a note, as a reference, if you want to take this opportunity. Yeah, so tomorrow morning we are going to prepare for the empowerment. There is a practice session with the Divine Leader, a Vajrasattva practice focus to prepare the internal conditions for receiving the empowerment. So this will be in Europe 7 a.m. And after that we have the empowerment. On the Learning Center, you can make the download of the empowerment text. Take a look on the headings so that you know the structure of the text and you can follow better tomorrow. So now to conclude, we recite together the Rime dedication prayers. For us here in Kalapa is the next prayer. If you are a translator, if you don't have the Rime dedications now, you can recite the another one also. By all these virtuous deeds of accumulated merit, may all beings be rescued from the ocean of samsara, where the tide of aging, sickness, and death is violently active. May this merit help all beings attain Buddhahood and be victorious of all the enemies of deceptive obscurations. By the goodness of what I have just done, may all beings complete the accumulation of merit and wisdom and gain the two sacred bodies. Wherever roots of virtue have been accumulated now or throughout the three times, I dedicate them here so that all mother-like beings may attain perfect and complete Buddhahood. Just like the exalted ones Manjushri and Samantabhadra practice, like Zen, I rejoice in all the virtues still to come and fully dedicate them as well. In future lives, may I never be separated from a glorious woman. May I never be separated from the joy of practicing the precious Dhamma. May I accomplish all the enlightening Bhumi levels and paths and attain the Buddhahood of Vajradhara. As long as space remains, as long as beings exist, may I remain dispelled their sorrows until they reach Buddhahood. May the precious renunciation arise which has not yet arisen, and may that which has already arisen not degenerate, may it increase. May the precious ethical discipline arise which has not yet arisen, and may that which has already arisen not degenerate, may it increase. May the precious bodhicitta arise which has not yet arisen, and may that which has already arisen not degenerate, may it increase. May the precious view of emptiness arise which has not yet arisen, and may that which has already arisen not degenerate, may it increase. May the precious Dhamma be respected and remain in this world, the only medicine and cure for suffering. The source of all happiness is the sacred Dhamma. By the power of the three bodies of the Buddhas, the immutable truth of the Dhamma, by the power of the inseparable union of the Sangha, may all our wishes be fulfilled. Just like the morning sunrise in the sky, may these teachings of the unsurpassable great secret of all the Buddhas spread and flourish throughout this world. Through the profound aspirations of the Bodhisattva kings of Shambhala, may manifest the glory of the second golden age in this world. May all of us Dhamma brothers and sisters come to enjoy the good fortune of our courage and commitment. Om Svasti. Dhammakaya tough body, primordially free from stains of elaboration, inconceivable treasure of spontaneous clear light, perfect pristine awareness of wisdom and compassion, appearing completely as the body of the deity. Guru Kala Chakra, please protect us. Virtuous friend who with the two Dhammas transmits an ocean of nectar, the compassionate blessings of Manjushri and all of the victor's children that manifest as a magical display of enlightened activities. Beloved guide of incomparable wisdom, may you live a long and healthy life. And of the Samaya, vice disciples gather like clouds. Rolling like thunder, the melodious sounds of Sutra and Tantra ring out. And the ambrosial rain that ripens, elaborates, moistens the earth. May the great Lord's garden of the Buddha's teachings flourish for all time.
Thank you. Very nice to everybody. See you. And also very nice to see new faces. Good night.